Hello gamers and welcome back to Solo Leveling Arise. So today, because of Global being released like a couple days ago, and obviously we have our first character Cha Hae-In, besides, this dude or even Choi, we're going to be talking about how you should properly build Cha Hae-In, like what kind of artifacts or sets you should use so you can deal the most damage. And then afterwards, I'll be explaining why I think these artifacts are the best set for her, because according to the last comment, the last time I tried doing this, I blabbered too much. So you'll have all these fancy sets here. If you're in the beginning of the game, you won't have that many sets, but as you go through the game and after I believe you beat Egress, you'll unlock more, such as like this, where you can deal even more ultimate damage. But anyways, besides that, what I think the best set to use for her in order to deal the most damage is, I think the hard leather helmet is pretty good because of the crit hit rate and the crit hit damage. But keep in mind that if you do use this set, you should be going for all 4 pieces instead of just 2 and 2, because you want to get all that crit hit damage to deal the most damage for her. But besides that, what you can also do is, I also believe that this ultimate skill one, the almighty care, whatever, this witch hat, I also think this is also good for like second option, but I still believe that this one is the best one to go for. If you want to use this properly, I would use a 2 set instead for this if you're going to use this for Cha. And I guess you can also go for like a 2 piece of this one just to deal a little bit more damage. But personally for me, it's not a super big thing. This is also a good set, like a 4-piece set if you want to use as well, just so you can deal the most optimal damage. But number 1, still going with this leather helmet. Anyway, you also have the other side, which is mostly a bunch of other stuff. So of all these sets, I think, was it this one? Yeah, it is the beast bracelet, beast set. I think these are the best to use for Cha, because every time you land a crit hit, you also increase your attack. And if you have the 4-piece set, then you'll be increasing 1.6 50% of the time, and it can stack up to 100 times. So you can just deal a lot of damage if you have this, because you want to crit a lot as you have Cha, because you deal even more damage. Some honorable mentions, you can use this one if you want. Personally, not a big fan. I still like the beast set a lot more, because if you use this set, even though you deal you just have to deal a crit and you can go up to 5% extra attack. And if you have the 4-piece set, that can go up to 20% every time you use a crit. But since Cha is always going to crit and you want her to crit as many times as possible, I still think this is a lot better. Because 1.6 times 100, that is what, 160% potential damage that you can deal, like extra attack, whatever. It is just fantastic. I like this a lot more. Obviously, you're not going to get all of the 160 because the 50% activation rate just kind of sucks. But it's still just a lot better than this red bracelet. Another honorable mention, if you have nothing else, you could go for this. I mean, that's not my favorite. As long as you have 70% or less HP, then you deal even more damage, which it's okay, right? If you have no other option, you can go for this. Now we have hunter weapons of what you should use. So obviously, as you have Cha, you should try and go for her main weapon, right? The Sword of Light. Deal basic damage 5%, and as you do your basic skill, your crit hit increases by 2%, and it can stack up to 6 times. And if you get duplicates as you make that better, it goes up 8% up to 6 times. It's just an amazing weapon for Cha. You'll make her sing ha-cha-cha and make her do the cha-cha slide or something. But if you have no other option, I mean, this bow is pretty good crit hit. You just want to deal crit, right? She's gonna deal a lot of damage using her crit. So I mostly think anything that has anything to do with crit, like this weapon there, the bow, there's rare bow as well. But overall, you should mainly be trying to get her weapon. If you don't know how to get her weapon, post after her banner goes away, you can go to the crafting section, and I believe you can go to the weapon. That's just because Cha's out right now. But if you go to the very end right here, you can see all of these hunters weapons. You can get any one of them. You should be going for their weapons, by the way. So obviously you'll need these holy mana for Cha specifically. Other characters depend on their element, and then you're going to need these hunter exclusive weapon designs. In order to get them, you do the battlefield of time. You unlock this later on as you go through the story. which is basically the ranking of this game, which that reminds I should probably be doing better on this. You can also go to the weapon material exchange, although this one is kind of pricey because you need 150 of these dark ones, and in order to do that you have to salvage your weapons, and not just any weapon, right? You need to salvage the SR weapon. So if I salvage that, you can see I get 6. I'm pretty sure you can do that for the SSR too, but why would you want to salvage an SSR weapon unless you have extra? And also, just a little side thing, you also want to make sure that you max limit break every weapon that you can, because every time you do, you also get precision, and precision is pretty important. You can see I have 1750. I believe if I put this up one more, it should go all the way max, right? If I recall, it goes up to 2000. And then if you have any other extra, right? I have 42 extra. If I do that all the way, it can bring up your attack, defense, HP. You just want to make sure that you can limit break everything. So don't just salvage everything. So now that we got all of that out of the way, now let's actually talk about Cha. If you want to know why I think all of those artifacts are good for Cha instead of certain other artifacts. So what you want to know about Cha is that every time she deals crit hits, she'll put up even more attack and crit hit damage, and she'll just be a really good strong character. And obviously, as you increase all of your crit hit and all your attack, and then you use your ultimate, which deals 2500 at the minimum, that's just gonna deal a lot of damage. So how do you use her properly? So first, you want to keep in mind of her passive. So when the dancer, which is the skill where she is dashing forward, such as that one right there that she spams, every time you use that, there is a 66% chance of inflicting brand. The enemy that is inflicted with brand, aka like you hit the enemy, that enemy specifically that is hit and has brand, they will take an extra crit hit rate and crit damage by 12%. So it's kind of like having 12% more crit hit rate and 12% more crit damage on that enemy specifically. Any other enemy that is not hit that will have brand will not have that extra crit hit rate. So the way you want to use her, let's say you're using Genu and you have her on your team, right? You'll bring her out, and then now Genu will be able to deal like extra crit hit rate and crit damage on that enemy or boss. Well, also you'll inflict unrecoverable for that enemy, which means they will not be able to recover HP. That's super useful. Now let's say you're going through a hunter mission, a hunter event. Make sure you bring her out, and then you want to use the dancer and try to get as many crits as possible, because you want to bring up that 8% up to 3 times. That's 24% potential extra attack and crit hit damage. And then you want to use her ultimate, as the enemy will now have brand from the QTE skill and then all that extra damage, and then bam, you're just dealing a lot of ha-cha-cha, lots of damage for Cha Hae-In. And obviously with her basic attack and her core attack, it's just going to deal a lot of damage because of all that extra crit hit rate and extra crit hit damage and extra attack. And especially Sword of Light, you're just dealing even more damage and putting on that unrecoverable. I'm pretty sure I'm repeating around here, but yeah, let's just go back to how you should play her. So does this have where I can switch her out? I don't think so. I haven't done this yet. All right, here's a perfect opponent. So you want to inflict brand as well as doing as much crit as possible with that one skill. So I'm gonna spam this as much as possible. And now she has all that, then you want to use her ultimate. That way you deal the most damage possible. Damn, that's all. Only 200,000 after all that? Damn, that sucked. Anyways, of course you can deal more. I had my Cha deal like over 1 million damage, so you can do it too. This is also pretty important to know. So for Cha, or just for any character really, if you didn't know, crit hit rate, there is a max limit of 50%. So if I go to my Genu, then I look in my stats here, you can see that it's yellow and then it goes to 50%. That is the max substats that you can get for like a character with their crit hit. And that just goes for the artifacts. But if you have like that crit hit rate by 8%, that goes above that 50%. As well as if you like have her like you have 2 extras and it has that crit hit rate, you do get that extra 16%, and that goes above that 50%. So of course, like my crit hit rate, that's just my artifacts in general, because I have crit hit rate 610, this one 718, this one 600, and this one 679. Sucks. I need better stuff. But because of all that, that really only goes up to the 39% threshold. If I had any better, then of course it would go higher. So just keep in mind, and this side of artifacts can get crit hit rate and crit damage, but this side can only get crit hit damage, no crit hit rate. So that's why critting with Cha and getting all those extra buffs is very important, because you're just gonna deal a lot of damage, a lot of crit hit rate, a lot of attack, live better, ha cha cha. And also there's other ways that you can bring up your crit hit rate as well, not just those. Like if you had Igris, if you didn't know, he brings up crit hit rate by 4%, and as you keep leveling him or bringing up his rank, you can bring that up a little bit higher, 5%. I believe you have hunters like this dude over here, where I think he can give crit hit rate and crit hit damage extra by 12%, or 8%. So pretty useful to have this guy if you have Cha. That's of course if you were able to get a duplicate, whatever they call it. I'm gonna call it Eidolons because of Honkai Star Rail. Yeah, I think that covers Cha. Hopefully I got everything. If I didn't, then let me know and I'll try and help out. But anyways, thank you for watching this video of Solo Leveling Arise. If you guys enjoy, like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate it. But I'll see you guys all again in the next video. Goodbye.